life sentence in prison. Embezzlement of $12.7 million, ignore the local laws, drug-related crimes, you will not have the protection of the U.S. passport or the U.S. embassy to magically disappear. Get out of Vietnam, nobody will care. So I was reading the news the other day and I read about a Vietnamese-American realtor who was sentenced to life in prison for selling mortgage apartments and an embezzlement of roughly 12 million US dollars. And I can hear in my head of you people saying, I told you so, you shouldn't get a Vietnamese passport. And then I delved deeper into the story to find the truth. And it's quite unusual for a person to get a life sentence for a small to medium fraud cases in most Western countries. So we've always considered on this channel about the strategy of having a second or third passport in order to travel freely, invest, and live all over the world. However, it's a mindful strategy to be able to invest and not be in one country. But the less mindful part of it is when you think you have a powerful passport, such as a US passport or French passport, and you are above the law or you're not subjected to the laws in the particular country, especially in Vietnam. Let me tell you why this is a big mistake, because you can still get into legal trouble even if you have a US passport in Vietnam, and I'm going to tell you why. And I will tell you how to minimize the legal implications of any violations that you may have in Vietnam. So let's get started. Hello, my name is Ken Duong, international business immigration lawyer with over 15 years of experience helping thousands of individuals and families get second citizenships and third citizenships all over the world, including the United States, Canada, Europe, Grenada, Singapore, and many other countries. But in order to get more information about immigration, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So there are misconceptions of immunity for US passport holders living abroad. So if you think that you have a stronger or very strong passport, such as a US passport, and you live in Vietnam, that you are fully immune to violations of the law in that particular country, and this is absolutely incorrect. Back to the story that we're talking about, the Vietnamese-American realtor, and we'll go into the details. In the recent case that we discussed, Vietnamese-American realtor named Bao Trinh, the owner of Nam Thi Real Estate Company, was sentenced to life imprisonment as a result of forging documents for the sale of 80 apartments in La Bonita, causing an embezzlement of $12.7 million and over 50 victims. The La Bonita apartments on Nguyễn Gia Trí Street in Bình Thạnh District was developed by the Nam Thi Real Estate Company, and it obtained a mortgage from the Rubber Finance Corporation of $4 million. And part of the mortgage did not allow the sale of any of the apartments without the approval of the Rubber Finance Company. Nevertheless, Nam Thi continued to sell the apartments without the approval or the true approval by Ms. Trinh requesting the chairman and one other person to sign off on all the sale of the apartments. What happened was the sale of 118 apartments to 88 organizations and individuals, accumulating $20 million, and the company was able to receive $17 million. Compounding the fraud, some of the apartments were actually sold to multiple buyers. The scale of the fraud was uncovered during the investigation when 50 victims came forward on a total fraud of over $14 million. Trinh paid back $943,000. However, she still embezzled $12.6 million, and that formed the basis of the court's verdict and thus her sentence of having a life sentence in prison. This case emphasizes the severe consequences of real estate fraud in Vietnam and also problems with embezzlement. That is the story of Ms. Trinh. This teaches us that even though you're a US citizen with a US passport, you cannot skirt the laws in Vietnam if you're in violation of Vietnamese real estate tax and also criminal laws as well. So here are some of the tips and things to consider when you're living in Vietnam. First, don't ignore the local laws, especially if you want to avoid some illegal consequences. For example, if you have friends or people who are inviting you to go to a protest or something that is against the Vietnamese government, that is outlawed in Vietnam. Thus, we would recommend do not go with them. do not go to the protests, or do not post or make signs that are government related or political in nature. When traveling to different countries, you have to make sure that you respect the local laws in that particular country. What may appear to be a disproportionate or lengthy penalty for something that might be trivial or minor, but you have to understand that in certain countries, they want to protect certain aspects of their lives. Therefore, they'll have to make the penalties more lengthy, especially if you're dealing with terrorism, incitement, and also drug-related crimes as well, especially here in Vietnam and many Southeast Asian countries. So you will not have the protection of the US passport or the US embassy. What they can really do is to report to your family that you've been imprisoned. They'll give you some of your rights as an American, such as to have an attorney, and then also give notices to your family. But aside from that, truly the US consulate cannot really help you that much. For instance, what could be a benign violation in your country can be much more severe in other countries. It's not a matter of emerging markets, it's a matter of legal systems. For example, if you are going to protest in Japan, South Korea, Singapore, or Vietnam, that is actually considered a violation of the law, even though it might be very peaceful and you're not doing so much. Therefore, we always recommend you understand the laws, respect the laws, and subject yourself to them, not thinking that you have immunity just because you're traveling outside of the United States. On this channel, we've always touted having a second or third citizenship in order to plan your investment, retirement, travel, living, and working all over the world. However, in the case of the Vietnamese-American woman who, instead of using her US passport to go back to the US to defend against her case serenely and with strategy, she decided she was going to stay in Vietnam and ask for the help of the US consulate to magically disappear this criminal case against her. So we recommend using your second or third passport as a plan B, as a more proactive approach to planning your taxes, planning your retirement, being able to live anywhere. Not because you broke the law, but maybe you just need to get out of Vietnam during the pandemic and use your US passport to go home. These are the strategies that we implement and we advise, not using it as a proactive way to avoid the law of a particular country. So now it's time to leverage your local advantages of having a Vietnamese passport. So if you qualify for a Vietnamese passport, we should recommend you definitely get one because of many of your non-existing privileges with your foreign passports, and you can get all the benefits in Vietnam, such as buying properties with a local quota and also be able to own land in Vietnam. Opening up a Vietnamese company, which would take 7 to 10 business days. Opening up a local bank account with all the local rights of transferring, receiving, paying for all your bills, and all the other plethora of advantages. But the main one really is to buy properties and land in Vietnam. And finally, no more visa runs. You can live in Vietnam for 10 years in a row and nobody will care. Those are some of the amazing benefits that you would have if you have Vietnamese citizenship. So if you're uncertain about whether you should get the Vietnamese passport or not, we've made a ton of videos and also a whole playlist that you can click on the top right-hand corner to get more information about the pros and cons, the benefits, whether you should get it or not, and what you should do under the passport. Also, with over 15 years of experience and helping over 200 individuals get their Vietnamese passports, we definitely know what we are doing. So make sure you contact us if you're looking to get your Vietnamese passport. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it's useful to use an anecdote and a story, and then also give you practical information about how you can get your Vietnamese passport. So on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video. But like always, make sure you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below about your experience getting a Vietnamese passport, and click on the bell for notifications. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. We'll be right back.